What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my Godzilla comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to talk about Godzilla Rivals Mothra versus M.O.G.U.E.R.A. This one is written by Johnny Parker II, with artist Winston Chan, colorist Josh Burcham, letters and design Nathan Whittick, editor David Marriott, and Nicholas Nino. So this is the latest one-shot. Well, maybe not so much one-shot based on the ending of this thing. It feels like they're kind of setting up for something else potentially. I don't know. I have to kind of look into what the next issue of Godzilla Rivals is, like who the creative team is behind it. But it seems they might actually have like a two-parter in some ways. But we'll get to that later on. But anyway, so the title of this one is Mothra versus M.O.G.U.E.R.A. I will say right out the get-go, I feel like the title here is kind of misleading because there really isn't any one-on-one Mothra versus M.O.G.U.E.R.A. in this thing. In fact, there's surprisingly a lot of mechas in this thing, a lot more than I was necessarily expecting. So as the issue opens up, I'll quickly summarize. You have Mothra versus M.O.G.U.E.R.A. It's in 2024 Japan. The main characters this time, we have a woman named Lupe, and then there's a guy named Nick. Mothra is kind of doing some battle against M.O.G.U.E.R.A., and she wins, but she's kind of injured in the process, so they send in a team to kind of go take a look at her and make sure she's all right. Some hostile stuff kind of happens on Infant Island, and it's Mechagodzilla. See, Mechagodzilla at this point has been hijacked by a bunch of terrorists, I guess known as the Restorers, who aim to wipe out all the kaiju on the Earth. Now, Mothra, as you know, is like the Phoenix. She is continuously reborn time and time again. However, their goal is to destroy the egg before Mothra can kind of be reborn with it. So, utilizing a stolen Mechagodzilla. So a crew is sent in to kind of aid them. Mothra is kind of in a panic state right now. She's kind of injured, but she also wants to do what she can to protect her egg. And so a team is sent in, and surprise, surprise, the team is led by Jet Jaguar in a way to kind of protect the Mothra's egg. So at this point, it's Mechagodzilla versus Jet Jaguar. Now, this is the Heisei design Mechagodzilla. The good news about this issue, there's a lot of action. I did not expect Jet Jaguar in this thing because the thing was advertised as Mothra versus M.O.G.U.E.R.A. But it's not so much really that. I don't know what you could title this thing because there's so many different like factions and battles going on at once. I feel like M.O.G.U.E.R.A. is just kind of there just to kind of give it like a more unique title. I mean, yes, there is a bit of Mothra aiding something to fight M.O.G.U.E.R.A., but there's no pure one-on-one Mothra versus M.O.G.U.E.R.A. I feel like the title there is a bit misleading, if you will, but I don't know what you could necessarily call this thing versus Mechagodzilla. Well, Mechagodzilla has been hijacked, and Jet Jaguar comes in to kind of aid, which is pretty cool. Then M.O.G.U.E.R.A. comes in, so I guess these Restorers are in charge of two mechas at once versus Jet Jaguar. So, like, it's still exciting. I just feel like my big problem is the title is kind of misleading in a way. So, they're taking things down. Mechagodzilla they're able to kind of regain control of it. You get the darker side of these villains, the Restorers, and then it's M.O.G.U.E.R.A. versus Jet Jaguar, who's trying to protect Mothra's egg. And a Mechagodzilla has now been taken over by the two pilots and all that too. But luckily, Mothra comes in to kind of give like her strength to Mechagodzilla in order to kind of destroy M.O.G.U.E.R.A. in the process, if you will. So, and that's pretty much where the issue ends. There is a bit of an epilogue right there. I don't know what this guy is wearing on his head. I'm like, is that just some sort of pink hat he's wearing or whatnot? But it seems to be some sort of warning for things to come. Now, the next issue says Mothra versus Hedorah, so I assume that's Hedorah flying from space, and I guess we're getting, like, the same creative team for another issue, which I'm totally okay with. It's just, like I said, I feel like the title here is pretty misleading, because there is a bit of Mothra fighting M.O.G.U.E.R.A. at the very end, but it's like Mothra powering up a recently recovered from the enemy Mechagodzilla to face off against M.O.G.U.E.R.A. It's just like I said, there's a bit of a misleading title there. So if you're going in expecting that, then you're going to be kind of disappointed. But if you go in, you want to see like a bunch of different mechas and that fighting each other, I think you'll get something pretty cool. It's just, like I said, the title feels a bit misleading here because it's not so much Mothra versus M.O.G.U.E.R.A. But other than that, like I said, I think it was a fun one-shot. I did not expect Jet Jaguar to appear in this thing. I thought that was a really cool surprise. Having M.O.G.U.E.R.A. and Mechagodzilla like taken over by like terrorists, if you will, I think that's a cool idea. I think that's pretty fun and exciting. I also like how their plan is to destroy Mothra's egg before Mothra can kind of be reborn to kind of end the cycle. So to me, like I said, that's pretty interesting. They also work for this organization called WKO, and I read through this thing a few times, and there really isn't like an explanation for like the naming of this organization. Like, what does it stand for? I kind of would have liked something like that. I'm like, was this in another IDW thing? Did I miss it? Is it like World Kaiju Organization or something like that? Because they keep referring to this as WKO, but I'm like, what is the WKO? Like, I don't see it on anything. So, and plus, like I said, you get the bonus action of Mothra versus E.B.R.A. And one of the things I love about these little, like, one-shots, too, is you get a large variety of kaiju action. Like I said, you can see Mothra be a badass, flinging E.B.R.A. from the sky down to the ground, and just a big kablooey explosion. Like, that to me, like I said, that's some cool, exciting stuff. And E.B.R.A. is definitely more modeled after the Final Wars iteration. So, you're going to get some good artwork here. I think there's some fun aspects for sure with, like, terrorists taking over Mechagodzilla. I always thought that was kind of a cool idea anyways, like terrorists taking over various mechs from somebody. Like, that's something we haven't necessarily, like, seen before in this, you know, in the Godzilla franchise, at least, because usually, like, either villains kind of make Mechagodzilla or it's just kind of in the human control, but never, like, Mechagodzilla is kind of taken over by, like, human antagonists, if you will. I thought that was kind of a neat idea, if you will. So, but yeah, like I said, it's a fun, exciting one. It seems that we're actually going to get some sort of a follow-up with like the next issue, because there was that epilogue there that kind of teased, and then, like I said, there was the Mothra versus Hedorah next. I don't know if it's the same creative team, but I think that'll be mark the first time in this Godzilla Rivals series that we're going to have somebody else kind of take over. Like, we're going to have, like, back-to-back things done by, like, the same creative team, so there's, like, a bit of a continuity there. It's kind of reminds me of the Millennium Era of Godzilla, where it's like every subsequent movie would kind of do its own thing, except for the Mechagodzilla duology, if you will, where it was in canon with some stuff, and there was actually a bit of a direct sequel follow-up. Whereas with the Millennium series, it was kind of like the other entries were just kind of like sequels, like, to the original, and, like, kind of ignored all the other stuff, if you will. So I am looking forward to seeing a bit of a continuation with that as well. So, like I said, this is a fun thing. There is no Godzilla in this particular issue, but I don't think he was really needed. It's nice to have, like, other, like, mechas and titans get the focal point of this, and we get kind of the big three, like, mecha-related stuff. Or three of the four, at least. I mean, we have Mechagodzilla, M.O.G.U.E.R.A, and Jet Jaguar kind of fighting all within this issue. To me, that was, like, the fun stuff, because I haven't really seen Jet Jaguar outside of, like, you know, like, fighting Mechagodzilla and, like, anything other than maybe some video games or maybe a few other comics. So it's not something that really happened in the movie. So, like, that to me is kind of exciting. And like I said, getting the Heisei versions of M.O.G.U.E.R.A, Mechagodzilla side by side, it would have been nice to have seen in the Heisei series. Like, maybe they rebuilt Mechagodzilla and had M.O.G.U.E.R.A rebuilt for another entry or something, kind of fighting side by side. Now, that would have been kind of cool. I like seeing that as well. So, but I mean, it's an enjoyable issue overall. So I just, like I said, just the title feels a bit misleading, because, I mean, given all that's in this issue, I still don't know what you would necessarily title this. Like, do you do Mothra versus Mechagodzilla? Do you do, because Mothra really only fights E.B.R.A and then just kind of aids at the end. Do you do Jet Jaguar versus that? That's what I mean. So where you get to the namings of, like, these rival issues where it gets a little bit tricky, because it's kind of hard to pinpoint a name. Like, maybe you do, like, mechas versus monsters or something. I don't exactly know. But like I said, we do get some cool stuff in here. So what did you think of Godzilla Rivals, Mothra versus M.O.G.U.E.R.A? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Post your comments down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit that bell for notifications. That's going to be it for my Godzilla comic reviews. This one came out last week, and I completely forgot about it. So I'm like, oh, I better kind of get to talking about it on this channel, because I've been covering the entire Godzilla Rivals lineup. So, and then yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, I did the War for Humanity stuff. So I want to get this one out here today and just kind of, like, give you something to kind of look forward to. Probably this weekend, you'll see the Dune Part 2 after the movie review. Haven't done one in a while, mostly because February has been kind of a dead month for movies. The only thing I saw Argyle, which was, you know, all right, not too bad. I saw Beekeeper twice this year. That's been the only movie I've really, like, thoroughly enjoyed watching. But I am looking forward to seeing where they go with Dune Part 2. I hear it's really good. So, but, yeah, that's all I have to say. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.